Brothers and sisters in Christ, I'm so thankful for each of you and for our partnership in the ministry of the gospel of Jesus Christ. It has been a full year now since the beginning of the pandemic. I remember the last normal occasion that we worshiped together was on March the 8th, 2020, just a year ago from this very day. The week before that, you remember we had experienced the tornado, the storm that had ravished parts of Middle Tennessee. And during that second week of March, in lieu of the announcement about the COVID-19, we began to quickly adapt to virtual worship and digital discipleship. Now, the lay leadership and the staff worked together and were able, by the grace of God, to quickly adjust to a shifting landscape that actually enabled us to stay connected in worship and in fellowship in some pretty innovative ways. And in fact, beyond that, to expand our witness, really, to deepen our outreach and to sustain our missional partners. This season has been the most difficult period in our generation, but it has also been one that has served to deepen our faith in God and in one another. Your patience and resilience in this time has been exemplary, and we're so grateful for the decrease now that we're seeing in COVID cases in our community and in the increase of vaccines. We have and will continue to monitor this fluid situation with our advisory team. But at this point, with the recommendation of our lead team and advisory group, we're ready to move to stage 3 of our reopening. In this phase, we're going to be able to expand our participation in worship and to offer more opportunity for our children, youth, and adults on campus. Now, I want to walk you through some of the details that make up stage 3 so that you can know what to expect as we move into this new promising phase. Many of these positive changes are going to impact our weekend worship schedule. We'll be increasing our worship capacity at each service from 125 to 200 per service. We'll continue our service times as they are now, Saturday night at 5 here in the sanctuary and Sunday mornings at 8:30 and 11 in the sanctuary. Having that time in between will allow us to clean the room as well. We're also going to be adjusting how we prepare for worship each weekend. We'll still have our registration system in place at bumc.net/worship, but it will now remain open through the weekend rather than closing out on Fridays. We'll still ask that you still let us know if you plan to be in person in worship, even if you do so the day of the service. However, we will not have assigned seating, and I know that's good news to many of you. When you arrive on campus, you'll be able to choose where you sit in the sanctuary. We'll have various places marked out where you can't sit, but we'll continue our protocol also of masking and distancing on our campus. And we ask that you be mindful of that as you choose where your household sits in the sanctuary. I want to reiterate that this is a pretty important way, this continued protocol of caring for our neighbor, of caring for each other. Now, in addition to the increase in worship participation, we're going to also be offering a nursery for children aged 8 weeks to 3 years, and we'll also be offering the Wonder of Worship for pre-K, 4s and 5s, and kindergartners on Sunday mornings. We know that these are invaluable offerings for many of our families who wish to worship in person, and we hope that this will allow many of you this possibility. Our capacities for nursery and Wonder of Worship are somewhat limited in order to keep the appropriate ratios of children to caretakers, so it's very important that we invite you to request or to register for these services each weekend should you need them. You can register for both nursery and Wonder of Worship at bumc.net/children. Your registration, of course, will help us to be better prepared when you arrive. Our student ministry has begun 6th grade confirmation with 80 wonderful students this year. In stage 3, our confirmation class is now able to meet in person on our campus so that these young disciples can familiarize themselves with the sacred spaces around our church and reconnect with our student ministry staff team as well. Our team is also organizing grade level gatherings and youth choir rehearsals on Sunday nights for students to connect with each other and fellowship with one another. Information about these gatherings and choir rehearsals can be found on BUMC SM and BUMC Youth Choir's Instagram accounts. Now, beginning April 5th, officially, the building will be open every day from 8:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m., Monday through Friday. We know that there are times that you'll want to come by the church, whether it's to visit or to pick up a curriculum or to drop off a meal for fishes and loaves. So we'll have these times for you to be able to do that beginning April 5th. Paula Cryan will be back at her desk in the front lobby to greet you with a smile. And some of our staff even now are also back in their offices, and we are more than ready for this new stage. Many of us are back now. With these updates and opportunities to gather in person, we're also mindful of those in our community who are not yet ready or able to join this new phase. We'll continue offering online worship as well as online classes and studies for those who would prefer to join us virtually. Our pastors and Stephen ministers are always available to walk alongside you in times of need and support and comfort. In fact, our Find Care page on our website shares all of the many ways that we're providing support right now, whether virtually or in person, in order to help and provide care and nurture for each of you and for our community. We're continuing our journey through the Lenten season together. Our church-wide study, led by Doug Rawls, on Tuesday evenings has 100 attendees gathering on Zoom to study the Passion of Jesus together. Our Restock the Pantry initiative is in full swing with weekly educational information, resources for your family to learn more about GraceWorks Ministries and the incredible work that they do. These weekly prayer prompts and educational pieces are leading up to 2 collection dates when we'll bring items to restock the GraceWorks Pantry and Thrift Store. Now, those collection dates are March the 28th, which is Palm Sunday, and April the 2nd, which is Good Friday. On these same days, we'll be holding an outdoor Stations of the Cross experience here on our campus, led by the collaborative efforts of our adult ministry and our Bumsey kids. So we hope that your family will take part in both of those offerings of service and discipleship during Holy Week. We also have special plans for Easter Sunday in the form of outdoor and online worship offerings. We anticipate beautiful weather to come, and we can't think of a better way to celebrate the resurrection of Jesus Christ than by celebrating in the midst of God's creation. We'll continue to share updates, specifics about those plans as they become available, but we're super excited about those opportunities. As we continue to expand and adapt our mission and ministry in these days together, I just want to thank you again for your faithful witness and support, for the faithful way that you're living out the good news of God's love every day. I also would like to share a link to a special word concerning our stewardship from our finance chair, Mr. Chris Wyatt. I look forward to being with you in worship, either in person or on live stream. And friends, may the peace of Christ be with you all, especially during these Lenten days.